In this video, I go over the footwork for all the corners of the badminton court and all the variations. This video in specific is for right-handers, but I will be making a separate video for left-handers. Again, this is just an overview and I'll be making separate video for each of the corners. So if you're a right-hander standing on the far side, your forehand would be on this side and your backhand would be on this side. The court is divided into 3 sections. So the back court, mid court, and the forecourt. There are 8 corners on the badminton court. Let's start with the 2 backcourt corners. Here we have the scissor kick, jump out, and cross behind. On the opposite side we have scissor kick, shuffle cross, jump out. And in the mid-court backhand side we have the crossover and non-racket leg lunge. These 3 corners on the forehand side always use shuffle footwork. And these 2 corners on the backhand side always use crossover footwork. Alright, now we'll take a look at the footwork in action. So the first 3 corners of the forehand side we shuffle. And then the first variation of the backcourt corner on the forehand side is a scissor kick. Then we'll move over to the backhand. The first 2 corners are a crossover. And then the first variation in the mid-court is a crossover, and the first variation in the backcourt corner is a scissor kick. So let's go back to the forehand side. Again, the first 3 corners are shuffle. And then the second variation in the backcourt corner is a jump out, or you may know it as a China jump. So again, let's move over to the backhand. First 2 corners are crossover. We'll stay with the first variation on the mid-court. And then the second variation in the backcourt corner is a shuffle cross. That's when you're taking the shuttle on the backhand. So again, shuffle in the forehand. And then the third variation coming up in the backcourt corner, that's the cross behind. That's when the shuttle is low. So moving over to the backhand again, crossover in the first 2 corners. We'll stick with the first variation in the mid-court. And we'll stick with the first variation in the backcourt. And again, shuffle on the forehand. We'll use the first variation here, scissor kick, and then watch for it. We crossover, non-racket leg lunge, and jump out. Alright, let's zero in on the variation corner, starting with the forehand backcourt. So this is the scissor kick. You would do this when you've got lots of time to get underneath the shuttle and you can generate lots of power. Here's the second variation. This is the jump out or the China jump. This is when the shuttle is a little bit flatter. And here's the third variation. This is the cross behind. This is when the shuttle is really low. And on to the smash block variation in the mid-court. The first variation is a crossover. That's when the shuttle is really close to the line. You have to reach. And here's the second variation. This is the non-racket leg lunge. This is when the smash is a little bit closer to your body. And finally, the backhand variations in the backcourt. The first variation is a scissor kick. Again, this is when you've got lots of time. You can get underneath the shuttle and generate power. Second variation is a shuffle cross. That's how you take the shuttle on the backhand. That's when the shuttle is a little bit lower. You're under pressure. And then the third variation is a cutoff. This is called the jump out or the China jump with the non-racket leg. It's when the shuttle is flatter. Alright, let's break it down again. So everything in the forecourt on the forehand side is a shuffle. And everything on the forecourt on the backhand side is a crossover. But just remember that in this corner there's 2 variations. Now let's go to the forehand backcourt variations. The first one is a scissor kick. That's for high shuttle, so you can get behind the shuttle, get underneath it, generate lots of power and angle. The second variation is a jump out or a China jump. That's for shuttles that are very flat and quick. And then the third variation is a cross behind. That's when your opponent has put you under a lot of pressure and the shuttle is really low. On to the smash block variations in the mid-court. Again, the first variation is a crossover. That's when the shuttle is far away from you, maybe down the line. And then the second variation is a non-racket leg lunge. That's when the opponent has smashed the shuttle very close to your body. And now onto the backhand variations in the backcourt, starting off with the scissor kick. That's for high shuttles. That's when you have lots of time. You can get underneath the shuttle, generate lots of power and angle. And then the second variation is when the opponent has put a lot of pressure on you. You do a shuffle cross. That's for low shuttles, taking the shuttle on your backhand. And finally, the third one is the jump out or China jump. That's for short shuttles that are landing mid-court and you can just cut it off. All right, we'll wrap it up by showing you the footwork in action. So that's it. If you like this video and you want to learn more, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.